that children and college students cannot play on teams that coincide with their gender identity, and many more such laws are being considered. Many states and very many school districts require students to use the bathrooms that conform to the identity on their birth certificates. Some of these cases have ended up in court, and more surely will follow. Legislators in 21 states have introduced dozens of bills that block access to gender-affirming care to minors, care that can include simply providing therapy to talk about gender assignment. Many of these bills would criminalize both the healthcare providers and parents who seek treatment for their children. In Texas, Governor Abbott ordered state agencies to investigate parents for child abuse if they provide gender-affirming care to their trans children. Turning very briefly to the third type of law, the religious exemption law. These laws establish that people and institutions with anti-gay beliefs can be exempt from following anti-discrimination laws. Some proposed bills would allow adoption and foster care agencies to refuse applications from LGBTQ parents based on religious beliefs. This fall, Yeshiva University shut down all student organizations in order to block the campus's LGBTQ group. This year, the court will take up the issue, the US Supreme Court will take up the issue of whether religious beliefs can justify businesses discriminating against LGBTQ people. This particular case is about a web designer who refuses to design wedding websites for same-sex couples. But the implications are far-reaching, and this is, of course, a very conservative court. We live in a time when rights are being taken away and hate crimes are on the rise. Trans women of color have suffered the most. Last year, there were at least 50 murders of transgender people, and so far this year, there have been at least 31. Numbers are hard to determine because so many are unreported or unidentified. This is our reality. To live with this reality takes courage. To choose to live as the people we are, to choose to love the people we love, takes courage. LGBTQ people thrive in many parts of our culture. We are doctors and nurses, teachers and business owners. We are musicians and actors and artists, parents and caregivers. When you see us at pride events, dancing and singing, it isn't because we don't know about these laws and the prejudice against us, or think that all the problems of the past have been fixed. We express joy because we are survivors. Because if there is no joy in being who we are, there is no point in working against such odds for visibility and for our rights. To embrace who we are with joy is an act of faith that who we are is part of a divine order, however we define that. A faith that loving ourselves and each other and trusting in the love of our allies is something beautiful that adds meaning and depth and color to the world. May it be so. And now, would you join us in community singing song 1053 in the Teal hymnal?
Thank you. It was 1996. My partner, Dana, and I had just moved to Columbus, Ohio. When we told our California friends we were moving to Ohio, they asked, "Aren't you afraid they're going to burn crosses on your lawn?" And then Dana, my atheist girlfriend, stated she wanted to go to join a religious community. I was doubtful. You see, I had been raised in a faith that told me I was going to go to hell because I was attracted to other women. And regardless of how kind I was to others or what good I might do in the world, I knew my fiery fate. So I expressed doubt. "Are you sure?" Dana was adamant. "If we are going to have a family," she said, using my desire to expand our household as kind of a bargaining chip, "we are going to raise our children in a religious community." Anxiety built, but hell-bound me reluctantly agreed to go to church. We made a list of congregations to visit. It included a Methodist church, which was the denomination that Dana grew up in. Did I mention that her father was a United Methodist minister? There was also a gay and lesbian Christian church and a Unitarian Universalist church, a denomination neither of us knew anything about, except that it was supposedly accepting of gays and lesbians. We found the Christian congregation extremely friendly, but the theology didn't speak to either of us. Next, we went to the UU church. I can't tell you what the service was about that day, but I can say that I felt more welcomed and affirmed than I had ever felt in my life. When we left, I turned to Dana, and with tears in my eyes, I said, "I didn't know church could be like that." She replied that she did, and that was why we needed a church community. One of the reasons my first UU church had such a profound effect on me was because it was a welcoming congregation. The UU Welcoming Congregation program grew out of a 1987 discovery by the Unitarian Universalist Association that, while the denomination had been on record since 1970 as supporting the rights of lesbian, gay, and bisexual persons, its members held negative attitudes, deep prejudices, and profound ignorance about bisexual, gay, and lesbian people. Unsurprisingly, these resulted in the exclusion of gay, lesbian, and bisexual people from UU congregations. Many UUs were troubled by this realization and became committed to making UU congregations welcoming and inclusive places for all people, especially minority groups who had traditionally experienced exclusion, discrimination, and misrepresentation within our society. Citing the principles of our UU faith, especially the first one, which affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person, the 1989 General Assembly voted to initiate the Welcoming Congregation program. The Welcoming Congregation Handbook was released in 1990. It helped congregations to intentionally take steps to welcome people of all sexual orientations. New editions of the handbook were released in 1995, 1999, and 2002. It was in the 1999 edition that the handbook became more inclusive of transgender identity, bisexual identity, and race, ethnicity, and sexuality. Since the last revision, much has changed in the lives of LGBTQ people, and many more resources are now available. The Welcoming Congregation Handbook was discontinued in 2014, but the Welcoming Congregation program was not. Today, it can be custom designed by congregation members to take their unique needs and situation into account. In the midst of the handbook revisions, both the Unitarian Universalist Society and First Unitarian Church of Cleveland became welcoming congregations. As the two congregations merged, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Cleveland assumed the welcoming congregation designation of its forebearers. As a member of the LGBTQ population, I'm a lesbian, by the way, I'd like to reflect on how I see being a welcoming congregation is woven into our fabric. When we first approached the UUCC, we were welcomed by the gay pride flag. Waving at the front of the building, it proclaims that our building is a safe space for LGBTQ people. I became a member in part because this congregation called a minister who identifies as non-binary. It also helps that they are a visionary and an incredible preacher. The Pride for All Ages group started this year. It is a place where people like me can be supported and where I can support and learn from others from different generations and of different identities than myself. Perhaps the most important incident that made me realize that our congregation's welcoming congregation identity is woven into its fabric happened this summer. Chardon's first gay pride event was being criticized by a number of church leaders from Geauga County. I emailed leaders of our congregation hoping to organize support for the event. I didn't just receive an email, I got a phone call. Yes, an actual phone call from the board president that same day. Carol helped me get word to the congregation, and on a short notice, a small but mighty contingent attended the event. I was proud of our congregation. But let's not rest on laurels and pat ourselves on the back too much based on the reflection of one middle-aged white lesbian. We still have work to do. The Trevor Project, the largest suicide prevention and mental health organization for LGBTQ youth, tells us that LGBTQ youth are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers. The organization estimates at least one LGBTQ youth attempts suicide every 45 seconds. Also, more than half of transgender and non-binary youth seriously consider attempting suicide in the last year. Pretty depressing stuff. But the Trevor Project's research consistently finds that LGBTQ young people who have access to spaces that affirm them report lower rates of attempting suicide. And having at least one accepting adult can reduce the risk of suicide attempt among LGBTQ young people by 40%. Our congregation is an LGBTQ affirming space, and our members can save lives. By being a welcoming congregation, visibly and vocally, we can tell young people who, like I did 25 years ago, feel that they are on the road to hell, that they most certainly are not. They are loved, they are valued, they are needed. On a final personal note, the larger nuclear family that Dana and I had planned back in the 90s never materialized. But because of Unitarian Universalist welcoming congregations, we do have a much larger family.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join in our next hymn. 168. Thank you, Mike. I taped this to the podium so I can't turn the page. Yes, 168.
These are words by Samuel Lundquist. Beloved, there is only love. In you, only love. Around you, only love. Not a touchy-feely pop song kind of love, but a love that knows every secret corner of your fragile, fabulous being and says yes. Yes to your difference. Yes to your diversity. Whoever you are, whatever beautiful spirit you may be, shine fearlessly and courageously. We need you and the divine light within you to sparkle through the prism of your body and brighten the world with a glorious rainbow. Never forget you are loved, fiercely and forever.
Before we extinguish our chalice, we have a couple of announcements. Hard act to follow. Today is the last day we'll be writing letters to voters with our Good Trouble campaign. We invite all Good Trouble volunteers to join us at the table at coffee hour to write a record 200 letters today. And if you haven't joined us before, today is your opportunity. There will be cookies, coffee, and cider for sustenance. We also have something new today, letters up for adoption. If you can provide stamps for them, please take them home with you to stamp and mail on the Big Send Day, October 29th. Also, those of you who, now you know who Maggie Nash is, she's going to be giving a talk about her new book on LGBTQ teachers' rights on this Tuesday, 7 p.m. at the North Olmsted Public Library. So please come out and both support her and also learn. We already know she knows some interesting stuff, so we get to hear more about that and about her book. And finally, the final Sue McKim Fund info session is tomorrow, Monday at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Please attend. An email link with the link will be sent out later today, so look for that email if you're interested in getting in on that. And now, Astrid is going to lead you in our chalice extinguishing words while Linda extinguishes the chalice.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
It's been a little while since we've had the multi-generational choir sing in one of our services, but today we're back and we're going to sing a song about love written by Melanie DeMore, who's a black trans woman and a UU and a wonderful musician and song leader. The multi-gen choir, and like I said, it's been a while, so you might not know, means anybody who wants to sing, right? If you're a member of a generation, right? And if you think you might be able to sing, or even if you're not sure about that second part, then I invite you to come on up here. We're going to have a good time. Come and sing with us. If you'd rather not, you don't have to, but I would love to have a lot of other people up here if you're feeling the spirit. And I promise I'll teach you how this song goes. It's really easy. There's parts for your feet and parts for your hand and parts for your voice. So we're going to start with the right. So it's called Lead with Love, and there's a kind of a steady beat that you can walk along with if you feel like walking. And there's also this part. And here's how it goes. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with... Everybody, you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with... You are fast learners. I love it. So now wait, we're not ready yet. I'm gonna teach you a second part, and this is a little counter melody. It goes like this. You gotta put one foot in front of the other one. One foot, and lead with love. Now, if you're ready for that, that's fine. If you want to stick to the other part, they go together, and so no pressure. Ready? So try that higher part if you want. Ready? Here we go. You gotta put one foot in front of the other one. One foot, and lead with. Try it again. You gotta put one foot in front of the other one. One foot, and lead with love. So now we're going to try it. Some of you are going to sing that first verse. You got to put one foot in front of the other. And some of you can do the one foot. And I'm not going to assign parts. You just do whatever you want to do. If you feel like switching halfway through, you can switch halfway through. So let's try it. Ready? And then we're going to go into the verses. I'll sing a line, and you sing it right back to me. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You got to put one foot in the other and lead with. You can help us out, too. From the other and lead. One more time. You got to put one foot of the other one foot. And don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other. Lead with love. Pull one foot, and lead. I know you're scared. Well, I'm scared too. But here I am. Right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. Again, you gotta put one foot and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. And lead with love. And lead with a little softer. And lead with love. One last time. And lead with love. All very much. That was fun. All right. Thank you, Malta. Thank you.